When your mind and soul are in agreement, when your mind and soul are in alignment, the fear of being seen, known, and heard as a healer completely dissipates. Let's have a conversation around this. I'm laughing because my neighbor is letting her little ones into her vehicle and she's listening to Christmas music, and sometimes I forget. It's like almost Christmas. It's like 75 degrees out. So come into the comments and tell me what it's like where you are. This is like tripping me out so much. Okay. That's not what this is about though. So let's have this conversation. I want to share with you a story that I don't know that I have shared yet, not publicly. We're going to dive into this. I call it a modern day witch hunt because that's what it's giving. And like, it was a modern day witch hunt through a spiritual group of people, which I've shared this a little bit before, but what I didn't tell you was the impact and fear it had, the role that had played in me prolonging the official launch of my certification program with Quantum Illumination Reiki, of my fear of launching my podcast, which was The Untamed Healer, and is now, if you are subscribed to the Untamed Healer podcast, it is Sacred Whisper. So if you go to find the podcast and you're like, what the hell? It's Sacred Whisper now. We rebranded. Hello, Mercury retrograde. We're just coming in hot. Oh my gosh, how are you feeling during Mercury retrograde? We're just gonna roll with the language, like not being able to talk. It's fine. Also, I'm sitting outside, obviously, and my husband will be home soon, so we might get interrupted a little bit by him too, but it's fine. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this. And I want to remind you that you're a high vibrating soul having a human experience. So two things around this, I say this all the time, is you are not separate from your soul, you are one with your soul. So any healing work, clearing, releasing, liberation that you do in this lifetime is across the lines of time. And then yes, okay, so it heals at a soul level too. And then the second thing around this is, because you are a human, you can't bypass the subconscious mind. We as healers and in the spiritual community, they sure do make you seem like you can. I'm sorry, but you cannot. Not sorry. I have tried. Trust me, I have fucking tried. And mindset was always something that was on the forefront of my healing journey. But it really took a next level when I had my Rising Phoenix moment in the fall of 2022, which is kind of where all of this began. And I want to share with you this story because I know that sometimes when you're getting okay, so like, first of all, the thought of going live makes you sweat through your shirt, fumble over your words like it is Mercury retrograde. You can't form a fucking sentence. Like, you have to go change your shirt after you talk. It's like, how am I going to say this? It's like overly planned and you're like, oh, do I even do this? How do I even do this? It has you stopping in your tracks from getting your soul gifts and your abilities out into the world, wondering who the F you are to get those out into the world. And I want to challenge this and say, who are you not to? Who are you not to? There are literally people out there waiting for your work. They're waiting for you to step into your soul essence and knowingness. It's not even about power, although I love you and your power. I love that for you. That's one of my favorite things to do, is create that liberation and support you through that liberation. But it's a soul essence. It's a coming home to who you are and what it is that you're here to do. So let's see. So 11/11/2020, oh my gosh, I'm getting confused with the years. 2023, this year has felt like 10. Oh my gosh, how are we mid-December? This is insane. In the fall of 2023, on November 11th, 2023, I did my official launch of my new podcast. I used to have, and if you're an OG, you remember this, come into the comments and tell me if you remember, Rise Within Conversations. I loved that podcast, and I kept it for a very long time, even though I had outgrown it, and it didn't feel like something I could have it be an extended version of me where I was just like continuing to revolutionize and let it evolve. It felt like an old version of me who no longer existed, which is cool when that happens. And we, as a manifesting generator, like, there's a really great theme here that it's like, if it's not in alignment, let it burn. Let it burn. And so I left it probably for like 9 months, and then I decided I completely canceled it. My choice. And completely different than what I did with Untamed Healer that turned into Sacred Whisper. It is the same vibe, but we talk about Sacred Whispers all the time. It's those internal nudges. It's those soul nudges, the nudges from your spirit teams. So, okay, I digress. I was terrified to launch this podcast because at that point I had been over a year of a witch hunt, like a modern day witch hunt. I had been harassed online, cyberbullied, sent emails all the time. People would stalk my website and send nasty chats, and I'm not, like, I'm putting this lightly, but they were saying some fucked up shit. And like, now I'm like, whatever, like, that's on you. But then it didn't feel like whatever. And I had to do a lot of my own healing around this. I thought I had gotten to that point when I had launched my podcast, but I was so fucking afraid to launch this podcast because I knew they were still watching. I could feel it. When you know, you know. And as healers, like, you know, you can feel when somebody's lurking around in your energy. So I went ahead and I published my podcast. And almost immediately, the stars started tanking. I was getting nasty reviews on iTunes, which they were all removed. They couldn't do anything about the stars, but they could remove the nasty reviews because I had proof. And so they started publicly trying to tank my style of Reiki, quantum illumination Reiki. At that point, that was the first time I had announced the name of my style of Reiki publicly. I already knew the name. My husband just got home, so that's all that noise. I had the name of Quantum Illumination Reiki come in. It was fully channeled for a while, but I didn't have the name yet. And then in that summer, it came through. And I was like, we're going to publish this for trademark, just because, one, it's a wise, I have an email coming out about this. So if you're not on the email list, just DM me email and I'll get you on it, because it's so, like, oh my God, it's so good. I talk about why it's a power move to protect your brand. And so I went ahead and I trademarked it, and we are at the tail end of it now. It is a long process. It takes 14 to 18-ish months to fully complete. And I was like, aside from knowing that I wanted to from a smart business move, I knew because I was being publicly, or not publicly, I knew that because I had been in that modern day witch hunt, that I was like, I don't want anybody to take the name, and I didn't want anybody to, hi. I didn't want anybody to take what I had built or what I was building behind the scenes and tarnish it and make it something that it was not. And so I'm live. Hi. Oh, careful. I'll be in a few minutes. Jax did that. Okay.
You did that?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to help him?
No. Okay, so where was I? So when I hit publish on those first 3 episodes, one of them I was announcing the official name of quantum elimination Reiki. That was the first place I had announced it. And then from there, I started building everything around it. But I put this off and put this off because I was scared that, like, what actually happened, I was afraid that it was going to be so much worse. But I remember receiving, and I also knew this was going to happen when I published my podcast. I just had a feeling. And my husband was like, my husband's not like super spiritual. I don't know. Come into the comments and tell me if like you're like super spiritual and you're like on your path, and your spouse is like, I love you, honey. Like, you do you, boo. That's Matt. But he is very intuitive. So I actually knew that this was going to happen, and he told me, you're going to create this into your reality. And I was like, I don't think that this is it. I don't think it's it. I think that this is one of those situations where it's like, actually, this is, I can feel it in my energy. I don't know how to put it out. I don't know how else to put it in words other than I could feel it in my energy, and I could feel that it was coming. And so, and I wasn't wrong. And so when it did happen, I remember sobbing. I remember sitting in my bedroom in our old house in South Dakota, bawling. Because I was like, I put so much work into the podcast. I love my podcast. I put so much effort into, not even effort. I put my heart and soul into my creations. And then also to see what someone that had never even experienced my style of Reiki, who I had no idea who they even were, except for they were part of that spiritual group of people that had been stalking me forever. I was like, then they were throwing quantum elimination Reiki under the bus. And so I definitely, in those moments, was overcome with fear, was overcome with doubt. And I had to come back to what it is that I talk to you guys about all the time, what it is that I am embodying in my own work. I had to come back home to me. And I was like, okay, I love this question. P.S. Write this question down. What is there to do about this very real situation? My soul was like, yes, girl, let's go. My mind was like, fuck, we are under attack. Cue panic. Cue tears. And I was like, okay, I've had my cry. I am pissed, but I've had my cry. Now I'm going to do, like, what is there to do? So I took screenshots of everything, and I reached out and I started doing research to see if it was actually a possibility that I could get the fake reviews off. Yes, they couldn't remove the stars from those same people, but whatever, it is what it is. And so I was grateful for that. And then I started asking, I just got on the podcast and I asked, hey, if you're loving this, like, come and leave a review. Like, let me know what you love about it. I love to hear that. I love to hear how it's supporting you. And I also love to hear suggestions for the podcast too. So I came back home to what it is that is the embodiment of my own work. What is there to do about this very real situation? And then also, I gave myself the opportunity to take a step back, and instead of like trudging forward, like, rah, rah, let's go, I'm like, okay, what am I making this mean about me? What am I making this mean about my style of Reiki? What is actually true about my style of Reiki? Because at that point, I had already been doing healing sessions with my style alone for about a year, only my style. And since then, we've only been using quantum elimination Reiki, my hair shedding, for 2 years, only my style of Reiki for 2 years. And then, yeah, I can't believe it's been that long already. That's crazy. And I got very clear, and I started showing my mind the proof. Let the proof stack. So when you are feeling so much fucking fear about sharing your gifts and abilities, one, know that it's normal. Like when we talk about, I did a live, I don't know, I think a year or two ago that was like, was burned at the stake for in another lifetime for doing what I do today. And like, yeah, my soul's like, let's go. And also, oh shit, are we safe in this lifetime? And it's like, yes, we're safe in this lifetime, but it feels really scary. And like, what if? And like, right? And so how very real does that feel? Where it's like, well, maybe nothing happened in this lifetime, but maybe it's soul deep. But remember, you're not separate from your soul. You're one with your soul. So any healing work that you do in this lifetime clears across the lines of time, period. And so that's the first thing. It's totally normal. Like, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with you. It's totally good. Now you're in awareness too. You're like, okay, I'm noticing the fears. Now let me look it dead into the eyes. What is this actually about? I love asking that question. And I follow that feeling too. I like to see where it is in my body. Follow the feeling and see what it's about. What is it trying to tell me? And then from there, clear it out through Reiki, through movement, through journaling or dancing or EFT or breath work or whatever, however you want to clear it out. I don't want you doing that before, because then we're spiritual bypassing, because we're just clearing out the energy and we don't actually know, like, we're not actually understanding the cycle. Like, I don't think that it's always useful for us to understand every single little thing, but if it continues, I just got chills on this. If it continues to come up for you, then it's an opportunity for you to continue to stay in awareness. Give yourself that gift. This is a huge gift. Okay, so we've got the awareness. We've got the, what is this about? What is it trying to tell me? Clearing out the energy. What is there to do about this very real situation? When you are freaking the fuck out, when you are in deep, deep fear, when what's actually happening on a scientific level is your blood is rushing from your brain to your body, so you can run really fast or fight like hell. It's like that fight, flight, freeze, right? So brain goes to body to run like hell, to be faster, to be stronger, but you get dumber. That's humanity. And so we want you to be calmer first, and then it's like, okay, now what is there to do about this very real situation? A couple different things happen when you are asking this question. One, you're getting your subconscious mind on board. Now, instead of your mind looking for ways in which it's not working in your favor, it is literally, you are, sorry, I just got a notification and it made me lose my train of thought. So when you ask this question, your mind, instead of your subconscious mind looking for ways in which things are not working in your favor, or ways in which things are not working, period, now it's actually scanning for ways in which things, like the solutions, there's the word. I'm like, come on, Mercury retrograde, work with me. It's scanning for solutions. This is your mind doing mind things. So if you ever find yourself, oh my God, I'm like spiraling out, or, you know, I tend to see the negative first, or I notice this a lot in business, because I do this too. It's like, tell me the type of person, or tell me about the person you want to work with. What is it that, like, tell me their traits. And very often it comes up, and I do this too. It's like, well, what is it that she's struggling with? Instead of what is it that she wants? Like, what is the transformation that she wants? What I find very fascinating about this is that this is your mind being like, well, I can look for the ways in which it's not working out for them. But once you know how it's not working out, then you know what you do want. Once you know what you don't want, now you know what you do want, because it's flipped that, right? So what is there to do about this very real situation? Your subconscious mind is on board. It's now scanning for what there is to do. It's scanning for solutions. You also get our quantum field on board as well. So what you think attracts what you want more of, pulls it into you. So it's also pulling in the solutions to you. So you've got both of those working in your favor. And then, you know, you can throw in spirituality, like God, source, universe, angels, guides, loved ones. Like, they are now bringing who it is or what it is that you need to know about what there is to do about this very real situation. Now you are getting your mind and soul connected. I've got a shake sitting here and the flies keep on. That's what I'm doing every time I'm doing this. Okay. So that's how you create that mind-soul connection. You're high vibrating soul. You cannot bypass the subconscious mind, and you are not separate from your soul self. You are one with your soul self. So any clearing you do in this lifetime clears across the lines of time. Then we get a chance to look at the energetics of this. It's like, so for me, when I asked that question, what is there to do about this very real situation? I was like, cool, let me research iTunes and see if I can get these removed. I could. I sent in all the proof every single time. Literally, when I say every single time, I mean literally every single time. This went on for a while. I'm like, God, are you guys bored yet? Because I've got this down pat. And so now I'm very resourced, right? Now I'm very resourced in knowing how to do this. My dogs are like, who's out there? It's me. And then I'm like, what is it? And then I love to ask this question. What are you making it mean about you? So I started to like get clear on what was I making it mean and what is my actual truth. The actual truth is that I know that the information and the transformation that I provide on my podcast, on my lives, in my content, everywhere that I show up is of value. I know that the integrity that I show up. And so when you know what it is that you're making it mean about you, and that question often is it's like, oh, it can be a tough question to ask yourself. But when you know that, then you can flip that and go to your truth, go to your alignment. So now you're stepping into your soul essence. And you are coming back home to you, not based on what everybody else says, not based on what society says, not based on your programming, you. So it's like, okay, the truth is, I know the value that I bring and the transformations that I provide. And what was I making it mean about my style of Reiki? Well, I was like, it means nothing. It means nothing what they say, but what is the truth of this? It's like, I have seen firsthand, no pun intended, but I have seen firsthand what this style of Reiki is doing for the people that have entrusted me with their healing journey. And I would go through all of my transformations, all of the testimonials, and read them and submerge myself into that and remind myself the power of quantum illumination Reiki. And so I hope this supported you. I wanted to share a little bit of a piece of this story because, one, I haven't shared it before, and two, I find that it's really useful for you to understand. I don't know about you, but maybe like for me, it's like sometimes when I hear someone else say, oh my gosh, like I'm really struggling with this, or yeah, I get it. Like I'm going through this thing and I hear it from someone else and I'm like, oh, okay. It's okay for me to feel like this. And also it's normal. And now I have solutions to be able to move forward, or I have ways in which I can step back into my power. And that's where we want you, is in your power, is in your truth, is in your soul essence, coming home to the soul essence of who you are and what it is that you're here to do. So 2 things. 1, if you want to dive more into this work, if you are someone that had been struggling with the fear of being seen, known, heard as a healer, and you are ready to step into your power, into confidence, and activating your spiritual gifts and abilities, your soul codes, this is exactly what we do inside of the Rising Phoenix. This also includes, this is all in alignment with releasing imposter syndrome and the good girl energy, no longer even entertaining what it is that is a no for you, no longer being the doormat, no longer saying yes to shit that doesn't give you energy and things that weigh you down. It's learning to lovingly create boundaries. So the Rising Phoenix is a 6-month transformational program to support you in going from hidden healer to here the fuck I am healer in your power, stripping away the BS, societal beliefs, limiting beliefs, witch wounds from this lifetime and lifetimes before, so that you can be in your confidence, owning who you are at the soul essence, and it's a coming home. You are not lost. You're not lost. When we strip away those layers, originally the Rising Phoenix was called Stripped Away, the Rising Phoenix, because we are literally stripping away the layers one by one to reveal the soul essence of you, to come home to you. DM me Phoenix, and I will send the rest of the information your way. We do have an option to bundle it with Quantum Illumination Reiki certification program. Haven't even fully publicly launched this yet, and we've got 8 beautiful souls inside that have already reserved their spots. So you can bundle it with the Rising Phoenix, or if you're like, I want into the certification program, we are officially launching in Q1 of 2025. Once that trademark is fully registered, we are super close. So once that is fully registered, it is go time on the launch for the certification program. So you can reserve your spot now, or you can bundle it with the Rising Phoenix, and there's a huge discount when you bundle it as well. So DM me Quantum, or just DM me what you want the information on. I'll send it your way. I love you guys. Remember, you're not separate from your soul. You are one with your soul. And get really good at stepping into awareness, shifting your mind, coming home to you, and remembering who the F you are. I'll talk to you soon.